when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. This morning, we're chatting with Miss Natasha II about the International Advocacy Against Child Abuse program launch. Good morning to you, Miss II.
Good morning to you. Good morning to all the viewers.
Okay, wonderful. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your capacity at the division.
Well, I'm here today to talk about my NGO, International Advocacy Against Child Abuse. So I'm the founding director, one of the founding directors of that organization. We began in 2009. It was in response to how Tobagonians treated with issues related to child abuse, such as incest and so on, back then. You know, it was pronouncedly more restrictive and taboo than it is now. There's a little more leeway, people understand it more, and people speak out a little more. But the way it was treated then was very, very closed, and so we wanted an avenue where people could learn about the different types of child abuse and how to overcome the traumas associated with it, and so on.
Okay, and what was the driving force behind you starting such an organization?
Right. Well, we got together because we felt that we needed one organization that could attract the collaboration of other organizations so that we could meet the needs of families more readily. Women, children in households within our communities, we be able to teach them more about different forms of child abuse and overcoming the trauma that is associated with it.
Okay, wonderful. And in terms of the organization itself, is it something that you would have recently done? Is it something that you had you were thinking about it for quite some time and you just only now started doing something? What was that experience like?
Right. So we started in 2009, I said. We have been formally registered. So we are a registered NGO. And we've been doing a number of different activities, seminars, workshops, or fundraisers include, the bake sales and so on. But last year, between October of last year and January of this year, we did a pilot project. It was called the One Hot Meals Project. What we were doing was trying to reach people at the more basic level. Sometimes persons might go hungry. Sometimes people, during their frustration, the periods of frustration, might strike a child because they feel isolated and they feel a little desperate. So one of the needs we wanted to meet for some of the families that were still struggling post the COVID period was at least providing one hot meal for them. So we did this pilot project that allowed us to interact with 40 families in Tobago that were in need. So we actually did hampers, we did a hot meal down at the shop at Food Hub, and we made notes of how the women and the children participated. So there was a training component to it, and we focused on financial literacy and how they could improve their circumstances. And from that project now, we're going to launch a program, a 6-month program. And our program, the general title is Healthy Children, Wealthy Nation. So that launch is taking place next Tuesday at the Scarborough Library from 5 o'clock. So all of the persons who would have participated in that pilot project would be welcome to come, as well as any families who feel that they would benefit from what we have to offer.
Okay, and tell us a little bit more about that program itself.
Right. So we're going to have several components to it. The hallmark activity will be a training program. So we're going to start officially in June, and we're going to be inviting persons to learn different things each week in small sizes. In education, they call it scaffolding. So one thing on top of the other, just like a scaffold for a building. So we're going to begin the first Thursday of the month. Every month for 6 months, we're going to be doing financial literacy. So it will be basic training, things like what is a budget, how they can organize their budget, what your incomes are, all of your streams of incomes are, as opposed to your expenditure. What is an asset versus what is a liability, and look at how they have been managing their financial affairs to see if they on their own, after they get the training, can develop their better skills to manage their finances. So week 1 will always be focused on financial literacy. Week 2 will be English language. Any practical component of English language. So letter writing, how to prepare an email, how to fill out forms, complete forms, to access services, how to find agencies in the government or private sector to help them to advance their causes. Week 3 now, that's the life skills component. We're going to bring in persons to deal with agriculture, nutrition, and so on, very practical elements. And then the 4th week, we'll have the distribution of hampers and the original hot meals that we were doing. So it's an entire program at the end of which we hope that we'll be able to develop these families within our community. Okay. So we could launch them out so they have better qualities of life.
Definitely a comprehensive approach to alleviating that issue of child abuse here in Tobago. Since your company was founded in 2009, how much of an impact would you say you have had on young children in terms of, you know, your main goal, your claim to fame is child abuse, advocacy against child abuse. So how much of an impact would you say you have had since then?
I think it has been tremendous, particularly because of the collaboration. You see, the child abuse, the impact that you may have as somebody who is a victim of child abuse can last throughout your life as an adult. So when we interact with families, it's not just to deal with a potential incident of whether it's physical, emotional, psychological, or whatever abuse that the children may be facing. It is to deal with the hurts that those mothers, those fathers may have endured when they were children and they did not get over. And they passed that kind of negative behavior or toxic kind of trait onto the children and onto their generations. It's a way of helping families to heal from different forms of trauma, but in a very practical sense. A lot of persons feel alone, they feel isolated, they feel like they cannot achieve the things that they want to achieve. And so if we spend a little time is a precious commodity to us all across the world today, but if we spend a little time and reach out and just try to assist the adults who manage households to overcome their past trauma, we can have less incidences of violence and crime and so on, especially against our young people and by our young people.
Definitely an interesting approach to it, because we know that it starts at the head of the home. The children only know, they only pick up what they see the parents or the guardian or whoever doing. So if someone is interested in joining, being a part of your organization, how can they contact you?
Right, so my contact number is 384-5711. 384-5711. You can send me a text. You can go on my Facebook page and inbox me, etc. And we are having this program launch. Everybody is welcome to attend. We are launching our program, Healthy Children, Wealthy Nation, Tuesday, the 21st of May. We are going to be at the Scarborough Auditorium, and we're going to be having a good time. A nice little program to launch it, and we are welcome to attend.
Okay. And in terms of knowledge about child abuse, because maybe there are kids who they're being abused, but they're not certain that it's child abuse. They think that this is the normal way of life. Is your organization doing anything in terms of educating children or educating the parents? Because maybe the parents don't know that what they're doing is abusing their children. Are you going into the schools, or are you teaching that at the workshops? What is that going to be like in terms of educating?
So we have had a number of different seminars and conferences where we dealt with things like that. Last year, we did a conference on trauma, repurposing trauma. So we would have invited a number of teachers and students and members of different community-based organizations to just talk it out. And we had experts come in from the field to chat about all of the different types of abuse, all of the different types of trauma, the different impacts of them, etc. Talking it out in a safe space is a challenge in a small island. And when you understand that you do have a circle of support, we can start to move towards healing. If you pay attention to what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, even though we present ourselves nationally and internationally as one of the sets of happiest people in the world, we are people that experience quite a bit of trauma. The types of violence that we commit are heinous. We cut off children's heads. We leave heads in bars. We put people in bags. We burn women. It's a very violent kind of society that contradicts the idea of us being the happiest set of people in the world. And we have to face it. We have to face the trauma, and we have to spend the time talking to people and working with people towards their personal healing, because you can be one person to the world in general, but somebody totally different in private. You have all of these hurts, all of this negative energy and all of this anger. And we have to find ways to help families to treat with it. Very often you need some support to speak to them and some activities to help them to just build the bonds together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from 2009 to now, I assume that there may be some challenges that you would have faced in the organization. It could be financial challenges, maybe persons. As I said, the topic was quite taboo even back then, maybe a little less now. Persons maybe were afraid to come out and talk about it, face their traumas, you would have said. So what has that experience been like from then to now? Have you seen an improvement? Have you seen changes?
Personality matters. You have to have courage to do this kind of social work, and you have to trust in some superior being. For me, that's God. I believe that that God will protect me from any kind of possible repercussions, because persons who abuse children are violent people, and if they feel that you are intruding on the person that they're preying on, they can become violent towards you. So you have to know to protect yourself. So that is a real challenge that we've had. Financial obligations were met by us opening it up to the public. So we do sales, we request support from sponsors. We've had a lot of sponsors over the years, and we also do events. Some of the events that we're going to do over the next 6 months, they're quite exciting. If I could mention the 6 and 7 gangs that sing all of these, the Trinidad music and so on, with Matic and so on. One of the things I noticed about these young men is that they have beautiful voices. They could sing. What if we incentivize them to sing beautiful things instead of the things that they sing? So we are going to be having a talent show where we're going to be encouraging all our young people, and we're marketing it to the boys on the block, the girls who, they think they're tough and so on. We want them to sing things, but things that are uplifting. Things that could talk about their trauma, things that could talk just like Eminem used it back in the day. You know Eminem? You might be too young to be interested.
I do.
So we want them to come out and to sing and to do something positive, release that energy, but in a positive way. So we're going to be attracting them with a little incentive of an award and so on, a reward. So we're going to have that talent show. We're also going to have a nice awareness walk. You have to continue to have the awareness walks, because you always have young mothers, new fathers who need to know about how to care for children, how to provide for them and so on, and the dangers of child abuse. So we're going to have that bake sale. We're going to have that talent show, and we're going to have a nice big gala dinner to help us to raise funds so that it can be sustainable. It's one of those approaches to achieving the sustainable development goals, collaborating, us working together to be self-sufficient, and the members, the actual recipients of the service, participating in helping to raise their own funds. So we see the challenges and we meet them by matching it, solving our problems.
Okay, and if persons are willing to be a part of the organization, maybe persons want to contribute towards the cause, how can they? Just give them the contact information again if you have social media, I'm not sure. Just share the information with the public so that they can be able to be a part of as well.
Great. So they can call me 384-5711, or they can inbox me on my Facebook page, or they can send an email, iaka311@gmail.com. Iaka 311, IAACA 311@gmail.com. They could just come and chat with me or any member of the organization and send us a text.
Okay.
They could join right now. If they want to be part of the program, they could join right now. And we're going to market it between now and Tuesday so people know that they could come out. We're looking forward to them participating in the program. Coming out, it's a short session, just 1 hour, so it's not too stressful for people. 5 to 6 in the afternoon. First week, financial literacy. Second week, English language in a practical way. Third week, a life skill, developing some kind of life skill. And then the fourth week, we distribute the hampers so that they also have that physical support, that saying that we care for them. A small number will have the hot meals as well, the ones who can't actually prepare the meals for themselves.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we want to thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us this morning, Miss Second. Viewers, be sure to be a part of the program. If you can't be a part of it, contribute in some way, form, or fashion so that we can alleviate that issue of child abuse here in our little island of Tobago. We're going to take a short break and we're going to be right back. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.